What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to take a look at my 2001 Ford F-150 Lightning. So I did a video on this truck before, about a year ago. I've had it for a little over a year, and I just want to give you guys my impressions after a year. Am I still happy with this truck and what I think about it? So I always wanted this truck when I was in high school after seeing the first Fast and the Furious movie. And I figured out what this was. You know, at first I thought it was just a regular F-150 like most people thought, but then watching that movie, I guess a couple years later, I realized it wasn't just a normal F-150 and what the actual F-150 Lightning consisted of. So I knew one person in high school, when I was in high school, in like 04 or 05, that had this truck. So back then, I wasn't working or anything, so obviously I couldn't afford this. I was just driving my mom's old car, so obviously I couldn't get this. And I never was a big truck person. I'm more into cars and sports cars, sedans, things like that. The first car I actually owned was 2001. It was actually a 2002 Ford Mustang, but it was only the V6. So this interior is very familiar to me from that car. This steering wheel in this F-150 Lightning is the same steering wheel they put in those Mustangs from 99 to 04. Most of this interior is pretty familiar because obviously brands back then just reused you know, all the switches, knobs and everything between cars, so they don't have to develop new ones for each model. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Ford F-150 Lightning, this is a 2001 Lightning, so that means it has 385 horsepower and 450 torque. That's 20 horsepower up from the previous generation, so the 99 and the 2000 were a little slower than this. So they didn't redo the engine or anything like that. They just increased how much air gets to the engine by, I think maybe they remade the throttle body or the intake or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what happened. And they probably obviously put a little bit of different tune on the truck, so they could put out 20 more horsepower and 5 more torque. So obviously this is very torquey. 450 foot-pounds of torque is a good amount. Even 385 horsepower is very good. When this truck came out, I think it was in a Guinness Book of World Records as the fastest production truck made. So obviously it was pretty quick. So my impressions after a year of owning this, I'm still loving this truck. As you guys can see, this truck is very roomy. It's very comfortable. I have no issues with it. It handles very well. Obviously it's still a truck, so it's set up like a truck, so you can have some, you know, some stuff in a bed, and you could tow up to a point. I think the towing capacity at this isn't a lot. I think it's like 5,000 pounds, and you can only put like 800 pounds I think of stuff in the bed, something like that. So it's not a lot. Obviously this isn't a truck you'd buy for construction or anything like that, but I'll show you guys what this truck is all about in just 1 second. So yeah, me getting out of my neighborhood, the speed limit's only 25 miles an hour, so we're going pretty slow. But the speed limit's a little quicker here, so this is what this truck is all about. That supercharger whine, you know, just like, I don't know, when you hear that, you know why you bought this truck. It's obviously not the fastest thing. It's still a truck. It still weighs a lot. I think 0 to 60 on a stock Lightning is around 5.4 seconds. So that's like, you know, sports car territory, which is pretty good. But that sound is just what this truck's all about. So yeah, this has Eaton supercharger. It's a 5.4 liter engine. It's a Triton engine, but it's a 2-valve engine. It's not the 3-valve, which is good because obviously you guys know all the issues with the 3-valve Tritons. So this is pretty dependable. People still have spark plug issues on these trucks. When you're running too much boost in these trucks, I've heard the spark plug just, you know, get shot out the engine, which is obviously catastrophic, and you need a new engine. lot more power than this. So this is the one I have. This is my truck. The only modifications on it are actually just an intake, and that's about it. And all other modifications on this truck are just cosmetics. So this is basically a stock Lightning. So I'll show you guys the outside walk around and everything of this truck, and the cosmetic changes obviously from the normal F-150 of this generation. Yeah, that never gets old. Obviously, that's why I bought this truck. That's why anyone buys this truck. People don't buy this truck to obviously haul bricks or mulch or anything like that. But obviously, when I need to do things around the house, I still have a pickup truck. I still can put some, you know, nothing too crazy heavy in the back, but you know, it's still, if you're transporting something bigger, you're buying some furniture for your house, it works out awesome. So let's get into the cons. So obviously, this is a 19-year-old truck, so these are developing rust. If you're gonna buy one right now, obviously make sure you're getting a California one, so you don't have to deal with the rust and everything. So this one actually spent its life in the Midwest, so I have rust on this truck. I've been trying to remedy some of it. I can slow it down as much as I can by using like rust reformer and just like painting and sanding pieces that are developing rust. So the majority of this rust on this truck that I have is on the doors, which is obviously pretty easy because I think these doors are the same doors as any F-150. So obviously I could go to a junkyard or something and hope I find cleaner doors than the ones I have. You can't see any rust on the outside of this truck, but when I open up the doors, there's rust on the bottom. And also the side skirts, that's what I have some rust also. But those are like basically the only two spots that I'm having issues with, which I think for a 19-year-old truck, that's pretty good. So my truck has 110,000 miles on it. I bought it maybe with like 105, 106,000 miles on it. So yeah, this isn't my daily driver or anything like that, because obviously the next issue with these trucks is the gas mileage. So I think official numbers are, I think it's under 10 in the city, and maybe like 12, 14 on a highway or something like that. But obviously if you're winding this out and you want to hear the supercharger, you know, you're gonna get like 6 miles to the gallon, which is pretty terrible. And you need to put premium gas in this, so obviously you're going to be spending a lot of money on gas. So that's why this is my like fun project weekend car, and my main car is 2012 BMW 335i with the N55 engine. So that's my daily. Obviously that thing's still really fast. I have it tuned, but if I drive that car normally, you know, I average like 20 miles to the gallon, which is awesome. This, you know, I probably don't even get 10 miles to the gallon. So yeah, that supercharger noise is addicting, but every time you do that, obviously you can just see the gas gauge just going down. You know, sometimes I'm driving this around and I literally see the gas gauge moving down while I'm driving. So yeah, obviously fuel economy is terrible. But like I said, you're not buying this for fuel economy. So handling wise, for a truck, this is very good. It has Bilstein shocks on it, which is obviously, you know, it's tuned kind of sporty, but it still drives like a truck. So if you guys can see, obviously this is an early 2000s Ford truck. So there's a lot of play in the steering wheel. This isn't like your, you know, sports cars of right now handling or anything like that, but for a truck, I think this handles very well. These seats, these SVT seats with the leather inserts and suede outsides are very comfortable. So the driver's seat, let me accelerate. So the driver's seat is partially electronic. These seats are super comfortable. They have these bolsters that hug you, and these suedes outsides make sure you're not like sliding around while driving, you know. So this comes with a 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive, so you can hit the overdrive button, and obviously it turns off overdrive, so it's a 3-speed then. This isn't any sort of like fast new transmission. It's not like the ZF 8-speeds that come in a lot of cars right now that are, you know, very sporty and very good. Obviously it's a 2001 truck with a 4-speed automatic transmission, so you can't expect a lot, but you know, it's still, you're still getting 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds, which is awesome for this size of vehicle. So for 2001, the only option you could get in this truck is tonneau cover. So I have the tonneau cover on the back. I don't know if this is the one that came stock on this truck or is it like an aftermarket one. But yeah, that's the only option that you could have in this truck. So what we have is a cassette player, single disc CD player over here, and then we have a 6-disc CD changer behind the passenger seat. And I'll show you guys all that when we pull over and look at this truck. So let's take a look at the interior of the SVT Lightning. So as you guys see, like I discussed, you have this nice suede interior with these leather interior accents. These are super comfortable seats. As you guys can see, if you guys don't take care of them properly, they can wear through. Obviously I got this truck used, so you know, I couldn't prevent that. I actually cleaned up this interior a little bit by sanding these seats, and they came out great. I know I got some comments that, you know, I made the layer even thinner, but all I actually did is just take the top layer of the suede that got like linted up, you know, clumped up. So I think it came out a lot better. And obviously if it ever wears through even worse, I can just swap out the whole interior, because LMR sells interior kits for these trucks. So yeah, but these are the seats. These are the controls you get on a seat. So this one tilts it forward and back, and so does this, so you can perfectly adjust your seat. Obviously you go front and back here and up and down over here. And obviously these are manual controls. Goes back and forth. But yeah, you have power windows, power locks, power mirrors, power adjustable mirrors. The steering wheel is straight out the Ford Mustang, the 2001 Mustang. These are the gauges you get in this truck. Like I was saying, the passenger seat is not power operated, it's just manual. Usually have some door sills over here, but I was repainting this piece because of some rust, so I gotta put those pieces back on. You have some Ford badges over here. Power controls for the locks and windows. Glove compartment, pretty standard, not much fits in there. Here's the manual for it. Comes in this nice Ford pouch. Let's open it up. So here you have the owner's manual. Here's the owner's guide for the SVT version, because I think this normal manual just applies to all F-150s. So here's some supplemental information for the SVT Lightning. So here you have a passenger airbag and driver's side airbag. This is a bench seat. This this middle top goes up by pressing this button, which is pretty cool. You can fit, you know, 2 adults and a smaller person in the middle, or, you know, 3 adults on shorter trips. I usually keep it up like that. A lot of people do a modification where they put like a center console and stuff here too. So here, let me show you guys the CD changer in the back. So here you have the 6-disc CD changer. It just pops out like that, and you can load CDs into it. Pretty cool. I'm usually too lazy to switch these out, so I've had the same 6 CDs in here since I bought this truck. But yeah, obviously this being F-150, so it's pretty roomy. It's not like a Ranger or anything. You have a lot of room, and it's a very comfortable truck. So let's get back on the driver's side again. So here we are on the driver's side. Let's take a look at the gauges. So they're white back gauges. You have this SVT logo on your RPMs, and you have a boost gauge that goes up to 10. So like I said, stock, this puts out around 8 PSI. So when you turn up the boost by switching out the pulleys, you know, sometimes you'd rather put like a secondary boost gauge, because this will only tell you up to 10.
You forgot your stuff over here.
I'm not leaving.
Oh, okay, okay.
Cool, thank you. So yeah, here you go. Here's the CD player. You have a cassette and a single disc CD over here. I installed a backup camera over here. But yeah, here's our automatic lights. Yeah, obviously a lot of this interior is pretty cheap. It being just a standard F-150, it just has some small, you know, lightning touches in this truck. You have 2 cup holders over here, and then you have a middle cup holder over here. But yeah, the interior is pretty simple, but it's super comfortable, and I really like it. So my final thoughts on this truck, obviously I love it. I've been looking for this truck for the past couple years, and a lot of them are going up in price. Obviously this one has some rust, but it still has pretty decent low mileage, so that's why I got this one. You know, I'm trying to handle the rust, but I didn't pay much for this truck. It's probably the cheapest Ford F-150 Lightning that was on the market at the time, even right now with this type of mileage. So I think I scored pretty good on this one. But yeah, I'm super happy. If you're looking for one of these trucks, go ahead. Obviously, you guys might want to find a stock one if you're worried about, you know, some performance modifications the previous owner might have done that could ruin the reliability of this truck. But yeah, thanks for checking out one of my videos. Thanks for coming back to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and like this video. It helps the channel out a lot. And thanks for coming back. Bye guys.